Good morning, crypto warriors, and welcome back to the Gem in the Crypto episode 1182. Today is Friday, January 19th, 2024, and I'm King.
And I'm Bitcoin Zay, here to bridge the gap between cryptocurrency and the community, Monday through Friday at 10ish, you jabronis.
10ish, and today's top story is not many, man. That news cycle slowed down at this ETF stuff. Grayscale CEO warning. Only 2 or 3 spot Bitcoin ETFs are here to stay. SEC struggle to argue Beanie Babies aren't securities, says crypto lawyers. Ethereum looks to end 18-month losing streak versus Bitcoin. Donald Trump's NFT collection coming to Bitcoin ordinals, and socialism condemns people to poverty. Argentina's Milei tells Western world at WEF. But first and foremost, what's going on with those prices, Bitcoin, Zay?
Oh, yeah. So let's take a look at these prices for today. Let's see. We can pull this up here. All right. Let's see.
Ooh, man. Which call it is that fear and greed index went down about 20 points.
I would say the price is so bad. Coin market cap ain't even want to load. Bitcoin is at 40,800.
I got in the background.
It's at 40,000. Yeah, this is crazy, boy. These prices make the whole website go down. But yeah, so I can't see anything right now.
All right, I got you. I got you on this side. Price
this is
Bitcoin. It's 40,000.
40,969. Yeah, down 3.5%. Ethereum at 2,477, down 1.7%. Binance Coin $312, down 0.3% on the day. Solana at 92.75, down 6% for the day. XRP sitting at 54 cents, down 3.6%. Cardano at 49 cents, down 4%. Avalanche at 32.74, down 7% on the day. And Dogecoin, good old doggy coin, coming in at number 10 at 7. Definitely a full day of reds. Like I said, the prices are so bad the website didn't even want to load. They only want you to see how bad it is. And you are correct. That fear and greed, the index, it was what, 70 something percent?
Yeah, 73. I think it was at 73.
73.
Yeah, I mean, we go like 3 days ago. 4 days ago.
Hey, man, all we need is one more push down past 38, 35, and the fear is going to be right back. It's going to be at 24.
Oh, now that's the thing people forget. Yeah, people get scared. That thing about help.
Exactly.
Free fall. Really quick, I want to add on. We got recently added King Bonk. That sounds like an interesting one right there. Saros and Ton Sniper. Manta Network is trending. Myro and Volume Mint is trending. And Bitcoin dominance is 49.5 and Ethereum at 18.3. I think they heard us the other day talking about Ethereum dominance, because that ended up being a story today. It's too funny. Wherever we do shows, like 2 days later, there's a story on something we talked about on the show. It's like, just give us credit.
Yeah. Hey, Cointelegraph, man, y'all should have been gave us a sponsorship, because we know some of y'all writers. Yeah, we know some of y'all writers watch us. I've already met them in person. They cool. We know they watch. The stories from us cool, but hey, we need to get on that payroll.
Hey, really quick, some quick shout outs. Lord Smith, if you know, you know. Jake Fever, what's going on? Said go check out your P.O. box. Hey, appreciate anybody who sent me anything, for sure. Just call me L. What's up? The Painter, Zyro, No Cap, Bashir, Muhammad, Chloe Dior. Let's see, Wisdom Bars. I say you're a cool 28. Hey, I still play 28 in Hollywood, baby. Listen, can you believe I went to the store the other day? Tried to get a cigar, and the lady tried to ID me. I was already going through it, because on the way into the store, of course, a crazy LA driver almost hit me. So I tried to slap the back of their car. You know how that goes. Like, man, no, we're going to stop in traffic. And they end up going to the same 7-Eleven I was going to as a woman. She's like, do you know I'm a woman? I was like, I didn't know. I was like, but you still almost hit me, so learn how to drive. I might be Byron on somebody's what you call it right now. But then I go inside and they try to ID me for a cigar. I was like, oh, I'm done. I told her later, I said, look, I showed her my wallet. I said, I got my ID right here in my wallet. I said, do I look like I was like, how you got to be like to buy tobacco? She's like 18 to 21. I said, do I look younger than 18 to 21? Am I speaking like I'm younger than 18 to 21? You're not going to see my ID. You're going to sell me this right now. And I don't feel like doing this bullshit no more. she's so I'm like, this is the difference. Like, a dude ain't about to press me like this right now with a cigar. All right, like, this is crazy.
Come on, man. I mean, I don't even got to show ID no more. When they ask about ID, I just go. They were like, all right, sir, you come in. I did have one idiot in Miami. One time, there's one idiot in Miami. This man talking about something. Well, sometimes people that's 20 and under be bald. Nigga, where have you seen a bald 20-year-old? This ain't 1992.
In the hospital, motherfucker. Ain't nobody walking around like that.
Bald like Michael Jordan back in the day. What are you talking about?
Yeah, man, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's always, listen, I still get it. I'm tired of it. I'm like, look, I am literally old enough now to be people parents out here. I gotta stop. We gotta stop this madness. Appreciate that, folks. STL Solo 314 says smells like a DCA opportunity for me. That's right. Time to dollar cost average as Bitcoin dips. Satoshi Slim said 10K Bitcoin, let's fucking go. I don't know if we're gonna go down to 10K. I mean, that is some wishful thinking if I ever saw it or heard it. But yeah, I don't know about that. Jake, appreciate the tip. Said $10 beer on me. Hey, Jake knows what's up. Listen, Jake knows what's up. He's right. In Hollywood, yeah, beers at a minimum are going to cost you $8 to $10. I know it sounds crazy, people, but believe me, one beer, $8 to $10. So I appreciate that, Jake. I will be using it on the beer. San Morgan said cosmic aspects transiting Venus in hard aspect to Bitcoin Saturn. Uranus prices down. Zay, you know something about that. I don't know nothing about that. What's going on?
Yeah. So you got some of the astrology side and some of the numerology side and esoteric. There are certain things line up with prices. The whole universe is connected. And since everything is based off of math, you can only detect that some of the technicals that people use is based off of some of that stuff. So am I expert at it? No. Do I listen to them as well? Sure. I take all the advice I can get.
I take information very well.
Yeah, I'll take anybody's information because nobody's right 100% of the time. Nobody's wrong 100% of the time. There's some truth in there. You just got to find it.
Hey, and even if there isn't that much truth in there, at least I get a strong ideal of how many people are thinking a certain way, right? So if everybody was like, no, the sky's purple, and it's like, you really think that, huh? Still information. Glad to know that there's a group of people who believe the sky is purple. Like, all right, whatever. We got this information now. Hyben said, you see me in the A-Lux B-roll footage. Amazing work. Listen, man, when it comes to B-roll, these people, like Dave Chappelle says, a lot of virtual signaling going on in Hollywood. They act like they care, but they make you sign a contract in perpetuity throughout the universe, which means they can resell, use it for different things. So much stuff going around. It's all good. That's part of a bigger plan. It's going to work out. Hummy Developer, thank you for the tip. Holloway Fam Bam, what's going on? Snow here in the DMV. Oh, yeah, snow in the DMV, early beers a day. Oh, man, they said mess up somebody's flight. That's messed up. All right, we got to definitely check that out. All right, I've been in DMV before when they had that blizzard. Was it back in 2008? I want to say 2008 had some crazy blizzard there. I was there during that time. You couldn't move. But let's get to the show. Top story of the day. Something we literally talked about, Zay and I last Friday, and then I mentioned it again on Wednesday. And that's only Grayscale CEO's warning. Only 2 or 3 spot Bitcoin ETFs are here to stay. We said the same thing. We were like, hey, not only does this volume look weird, it looks like it's internal, but also we said, hey, a lot of these ETFs would not survive the months and years and quarters to come. Why? Because literally they're going to get ate alive by the bigger ones, like the BlackRocks. Why would I invest in a credit union ETF when I can invest in a BlackRock ETF? It's the same thing. One's more secure, and you know they're going to have their money for you if something goes wrong. So it looks like Grayscale CEO is kind of parroting that. The spot Bitcoin ETF fee war will not save the funds from being eventually pulled from the market, the Grayscale CEO believes. I mean, that's another thing. Who can go low to no fee Bitcoin ETFs? The only people I see doing that is Grayscale, BlackRock, and Fidelity from the jump as well. Most of the spot Bitcoin ETFs, exchange traded funds approved by the U.S. SEC, won't survive, says Grayscale Investment CEO Michael Saninashin in the January 18th interview with CNBC at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. Speaking of which, we need to actually go finally. Man, they got Jamie Dimon making a circuit tour where he's just trying to push the narrative out that he just, oh man, why are we still listening to Jamie Dimon and Bitcoin? I don't know. But Sonnen Sheen predicted that the majority of the 11 approved spot Bitcoin ETFs will likely fail. Again, we agree here at the Gem in the Crypto. Again, January 10th, they officially approved 11 spot Bitcoin ETFs. We're trading again the next day. Many ETF sponsors approve setting fees between 0.2% and 0.4%. Multiple spot Bitcoin ETF providers also offer temporary fee waivers. On the other hand, Grayscale, the largest Bitcoin holder among spot Bitcoin ETF issuers, charges as much as 1.5% without any waivers. And again, I kind of see why. They're like the legacy when it comes to Bitcoin and crypto. They're like, no, we're going to charge you the right fee because we know we're good and we have what you actually need. And you can actually see here where all the different charges are coming from, 0.2, 0.21, 0.25, the different fees. And of course, Grayscale's being the highest as well. Sonnen Sheen defended Grayscale fees for his spot Bitcoin ETF product, which are the highest in the market, stating that only 2 or 3 spot Bitcoin ETFs are here to stay, and the rest will be pulled from the market. I think from our standpoint, it may at times call into question their long-term commitment to the asset class. I don't ultimately think that the marketplace will have ultimately these 11 spot products we find ourselves having. So to me, that's them kind of saying we're going to put this price here where it's at now, because these other people who are trying to give you these discount rates, they won't last anyway. So we're going to put a price here. We're going to keep the price and it's going to work out. And you can see here, Greenspan's telling Cointelegraph having 11 of them is pretty ridiculous. There will have to be a consolidation, and they all know it, which is why fees are on the floor. What are your thoughts on this? Again, we talked about this a lot in detail. We've seen this coming as well as far as ETFs, the ones that are being offered, being consolidated. What are your thoughts on this?
Oh, yeah. So, again, do want to reiterate, the gentleman of crypto already told you this was going to happen. Grayscale's fees being, triple, quadruple the fees of other ETFs is going to affect their business. They've been selling rapidly. I believe the number I saw was over 30,000 Bitcoin was moved off of Grayscale. At this rate, the amount of Bitcoin they'll have in the next few months will dwindle very rapidly. One thing I do want to say, putting on sort of my consultant hat, if I was talking to Grayscale, one of the things I think some of these ETFs are going to do is, since it's a race to the bottom for the Bitcoin ETF percentages, right now we're at 0.2, 0.4%. I think you may see somebody go as low as 0.05 or 0.01, like as cheap as they can get it. And then to get that money back, they're going to introduce Ethereum ETF, Solana ETF, blah, blah, blah ETF. And then that's when they're going to get their fees. Because if you think about it, a lot of people, they like Bitcoin, they want to hold it. But since it's not actual custodial Bitcoin, they're going to look, how can I make more fiat? And we all know if Bitcoin doubles in price or triples in price, some of these ETFs are going to 10x or 20x. So once people start seeing that, they're going to say, okay, well, let me get some of these other crypto products as well, and I can make more fiat. And then the company on their end, the way that they win is they pull them in with the Bitcoin ETF, and then they introduce them to the new products. Like we said, it's just like Wolf of Wall Street.
I can't wait till we see this.
We sell them the blue chips, and make sure we track this. We sell them the blue chips, and then we unload the dog shit. So that's what's coming. I promise you. Solana ETF, Ethereum ETF.
Man, no, it's gonna get dark. ETF. Like you said, it's gonna get safe coin. Listen, why have one ETF when you have billions of them?
Exactly. So on the front end, they're gonna be like, hey man, we got the lowest fees in the market. It's 0.01% to get in on a Bitcoin ETF. Cool. But I want to make money on these other products, and that's where they can get the 1%, 2%, and they can get it back. So I see that definitely happening. If they haven't already planned for it, Grayscale has a number of financial products. None are official ETFs, however. So once they do introduce that, I think that's where the big competition will come in at, because they can't. I mean, let's just be honest. They can't compete with BlackRock. They can't compete with some of these bigger ETFs that are coming in and 10 trillion strong. Like, well, how can you beat 10 trillion? I mean, you can't even fathom where their tentacles are as far as their investment. So I see that happening. And again, the ETF drama is pretty much a nothing burger for the price. However, it's like a balloon holding a balloon underwater. They're just basically building up the momentum, building up the momentum. And once it's released, as you see that price start to release, it's going to be on and popping from there. How long that will take, we'll see with the halving coming. But right now, the price of Bitcoin based on the ETFs, nothing much to talk about.
Yeah. And then again, last but not least, when it comes to this consolidation, you got to remember, like, the new legislation that's about to come through. We're already starting to see with the IRS saying, like, oh, you missed it couple days ago. The IRS was saying businesses who now have done over $10,000 of Bitcoin transactions don't have to report just yet. I'm like, oh, that 3 days after the spot ETF, Bitcoin ETF come out, it's like, hey, if you're a business doing Bitcoin, you don't got to report it just now. It's like, wow, great timing. Yeah. But I think a lot of legislation that's about to come out now and roll out, we always trying to guess and figure out what's going to happen next after Martin Luther King Day and all this stuff coming out. Now it's to protect the ETF. Like, Literally, the ETF will be the golden egg, golden goose, at least in the short term. This is the experiment. And as for the government, is to protect the Bitcoin ETF. How do you protect the Bitcoin ETF? By adding barriers to entry. We were talking about this the other day. They're going to make, because there was another story we talked about. Essentially, I said they're just trying to stop any competition from arising. It was the other day. I cannot remember what story was on Wednesday. I had to go back and look. But it was another story on Wednesday. And my whole point of it was that they're just trying to add a barrier to entry. I guarantee that's going to happen. They're going to make some new rule or some new law where you're only allowed to have a Bitcoin ETF in this way, and you got to do it this way and that way. If you don't have this amount of assets under management, you can't have it. They're going to do something so that these companies fall off on their own. Where it's like, well, technically you're illegal. It's like, well, I'm illegal because of the last 24 hours you changed the law without telling anybody. It's like, yeah, we understand your frustration, but it's still illegal. You might want to lobby to get that law changed again. It's like that will push people out the market, I think. I saw some people saying that Switzerland is no longer neutral anymore. They're starting to side with the EU. Yeah, I can see that. I don't think they ever really been neutral as much as they make themselves seem. But no, I agree. I think they're no longer neutral as well. Let's see. Somebody said only have to report Bitcoin earnings if they are cashed out, but by Bitcoin, that's what the company's got to know. Okay. Let's see. I saw other good comments as well. Are we buying Bitcoin ETFs? They are. They said they know my answer. Are you buying a Bitcoin ETF?
Hell no. Nah, this is the thing. The ETFs, those are for investment companies, and therefore people who have their money in these different products, these different companies like Fidelity and BlackRock or whatever. This is a way for them to move their money or allocate a portion of their portfolio to the ETFs. For individual, you could just buy Bitcoin on PayPal if you wanted to do that.
That's what I was going to say. Oh, well, I want to say
and
PayPal,
just sit there and watch the spot. Yeah, and just watch the spot price. If you want, cash in, cash out, you can do your own ETF. That's basically what you're doing is an individualized version of it. Or you can own the asset directly, and you can have Bitcoin that you can actually have access to when you want it, and you own your private keys. Of course, I'm not going to buy ETF. I'm Mr. No keys, no cheese. Ain't no way in hell I'm about to be
my thing too with the ETFs really quick is just that I mean, I don't get how you make more money with the ETF over the underlying assets. So that's just where I am with it. Until somebody can thoroughly can explain that to me in 1 or 2 sentences, like this is how you'll make more money with the ETF rather than the underlying asset. I'm not seeing that or understanding it. So to me, it doesn't make sense. It was funny. I was talking to my girl the other day. She was talking about should she be investing in like Roth IRA or 401ks and Roth IRAs? I'm like, when people were doing that, we didn't have the Cash Apps and the Robin Hoods. Like it was illegal to trade more than 5 trades a month if you didn't have 25K in an account. Like we didn't have access to all this stuff that's here. So I was like, I don't know really. I was like, these days, unless you really just want to be hands off, it doesn't make sense. I go to my Cash App and I can start a new portfolio. You can start your own ETF. All the ETF is a basket full of different assets, folks. You can literally be like start your own ETF and start selling it to people you know. Legally, I don't know. But as far as the actual technical ability to do it, like you can actually do that. So I don't know. Like I'm all for the new school and the modern ways of doing things. Let's see. Speaking of new school and modern ways, SEC struggled to argue Beanie Babies aren't securities. That is right. Full court press on the SEC right now, coming from none other than Coinbase. For the most part, they're angry. They thought they would do the right thing and go with the government and life will work out. And of course, that didn't happen. So they're kind of PO and they're taking them to court. Really quick comment. I want to bring up. Shout out to Reggie Middleton. Said, I still think the ETFs may have failed due diligence in terms of IP and patent issues. I mean, that is at this point a ton of projects we know. So we're going to see what's going to happen as far as Reggie. Tell us. You gotta let us know. Is the government enforcing your patent? You need to be getting with the government and making sure they're enforcing it. I need to see them pointing fingers and fining. It's about that time, Reggie. I want to see it happen.
It's hard when they all work for each other.
Right, exactly, right. But talking about the Beanie Babies aren't securities, SEC has some issues arguing that. Cryptos and securities lawyers weighed in on a judge's remarks after a 5-hour court hearing on Coinbase's motion to dismiss an SEC lawsuit. See what I mean, people? Zay and I were talking about this before the show. Coinbase, after all these years, finally said, fine, we'll give the lawyers some money to fight the U.S. government. And look at that. You land a punch, you land a big punch. SEC is stumbling backwards. This is all Binance, Coinbase, what's the other guy that had the exchange? Kraken. This is all you all had to do. Like, people, one more time, I gotta make sure we're clear about this, because people forget. I know America, we are one of the most powerful countries, our military, weapons, blah, blah, blah. But even us Americans, is one thing we don't like that many people don't like, and that's to be hit back. Everyone has a plan so they get punched in the face. Ain't that what Mike Tyson said?
With Mike Tyson.
Listen, yeah. I'm not going to bring up tragic events in United States history, but trust me, every time we've been punched in our mouth, we do not react well as a country. Let's be clear about that. This is no different. If you punch the SEC in the mouth, if you punch the federal courts in the mouth, how do you do that? By hiring your own lawyers and having them go through the actual process. Every other lawyer is going through discovery and what's right, what's wrong, legalities. Punch them back legally, and they don't want to fight. All right, like, this is so simple, but nobody wants to throw a swing because they like, oh man, this is, you see how big America is? Like, shit, I ain't about to swing on that big muff. All right, well, either you don't swing or they're gonna take your gym shoes, and that's a polite way of me saying that. All right, they're gonna take you for everything. I am a boy, Damon. Either you swing back or they're gonna take. I'd much rather swing back and keep swinging till I can't swing no more. Shout out to Coinbase for finally, not like, you have all the money in the world. Thank you for using it. All right, stop buying up all these LA matches and give the lawyers some money. They finally did it, and guess what? The lawyers said we don't even need a week. They can't argue Beanie Babies. We're good as gold. All right, all you had to do is pay the lawyers. So United States Securities Regulator apparently failed to effectively argue the difference between Beanie Babies and securities during a recent hearing in New York. One of a few signs that could bode well for Coinbase in its defense, according to lawyers. And really quick, I want to add, Bitcoin Zay could have hired me as a lawyer for the low. Why? I said a long time ago. Are we going to do Pokemon cards this way? Are we going to do marbles this way? Are we going to do any asset that I did, like lighters? I got a lighter. Are we going to start saying, fine, you can create fire from this object? Now all of a sudden, these objects are worth $10,000. You need to register them with the Securities Commission. You need to go through the, why? Because people like lighters overnight? Like, are we going to do this with are we going to do this with Grand Theft Auto 6? Let's talk about it. Grand Theft Auto 6 will pull in billions of dollars. You don't know what I'm talking about, people. That's a video game. This video game is set to pull in billions of dollars next year. Are we going to all of a sudden say, well, we need to have a whole market of protections and regulations around video games and Grand Theft Auto 6 now? What's going on? Bitcoin Zay, talk to me. What are your thoughts on this story here?
Don't let them come out with a GTA coin. Security. That's a security. You're gonna have to follow the SEC law. You got to follow the Howey test just to go do drive-bys on prostitutes on GTA. That's crazy, man. But
whenever I need somebody to take it there, I can always count on you, Zay.
Oh yeah, you already know. But this one guy I follow on Twitter, it is hilarious. If you follow this guy on Twitter, Jake Travinsky, I've been following him. He's been following the SEC's legal case against against Coinbase's corporation, and it turns out one of the key flaws they found is nearly every asset on the planet can be a security, and of course that can't be true. They're supposed to regulate markets for financial instruments, not digital goods or technologies empowering them. And I saw one of the judges, he states here, Judge Fela, seems to get this flaw quite well. I am presented with the specter of collectibles baited by the SEC. So it would give it authority of sneakers, trading cards, watches, basically anything with
as it should. You want to play that game? Saying. That's my point. Yeah. You want to play that game?
Make it all security.
Play it, not halfway. Hey, everything. Hey, that's what my point is. I would rather I'm sorry for interrupting, Zay, but I just rather the United States come out and say we are a real gang. We're gonna go by gang rules. Shit ain't gonna be fair. We're gonna talk to you how we want. We're gonna bro. I just got to check the other day. 30% is gone. Like, what? That's almost 1/3. 30% of what you make, they take.
Taking 1/30 of life.
Potholes everywhere. This is crazy. Like, this is absolute craziness to me.
I would love to see the process of registering everything as a security.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Security, everything. Your jacket, your hat, your microphones are security. The windows are securities. Let's just I mean, because that's how that's how the Howey test basically works. Is it casts a wide net, so anything they want to deem as a security, they can do it. Which is just regular actions of a regulating body. If they want to regulate everything, you cast a wide net, so pretty much anything can fall under it. So you don't have to do any real work. That's why I keep telling you regulators are lazy. They don't really want to do any real work to dig into what's the difference between a cryptocurrency, a token, Bitcoin, an NFT. What are the differences in these different projects? Because they're not all one size fits all. You can't Elizabeth Warren this and just say, oh well, it's all bad. They're all digital assets. They all subject to the same law. Like no, you got regulators fighting with each other because they don't know what the hell to do. CFTC don't know what SEC is doing. They don't know what the FSA is doing. They don't know what money transmission. Everybody's all over the place. So all right, if y'all want to play that game, let's just go all the way with it. Everything's a security, even you individual.
Right, soon, very soon.
Yeah, I'm putting myself on the New York Stock Exchange. You can trade because they have websites for that. You know that they have websites where you can basically invest in athletes or musicians, and you can basically ride the waves of their price going up or down based on actions that they take. All right, well, I'm a security. Let's just go ahead and put that on the birth certificates for every child born after 2024. You are a security. So fuck it. I mean, we going all the way there. Let's do it.
Hey, shout out to I Love Crypto, Crypto Blood. CB News Network is in the house. What's up, CB? I was actually just watching one of your streams yesterday or the day before. You already had posted, so I missed the live, but I put the thumbs up in there. Shout out to CB. He was doing a breakdown of Bitcoin where we thought the price. Actually, yeah. Shout out to Crypto Blood. I think it was yesterday or the day before when I was watching that stream. He called for a dip. He did call for a dip on that stream. I give it to you. He was doing TA. He had the charts out. He was like, I already told y'all that the ETF was in the news right afterwards. We're looking, hey, if you haven't checked them out yet, make sure you check out CB, Crypto Blood.
CB.
Shout out CB. I literally just watched that a day or two ago and look at today, look at the price. So great call on that one. Great call on that one. Satoshi Slim, I finally got around to watching BitCon. Speaking of which, I almost watched that the other day. I was telling my girl I wanted to wait to watch that with the Discord. So I am thinking Saturday night we'll be watching BitCon in Discord. I was thinking about tonight, but tonight might not be a great night. I'll be running around. Tomorrow might not be a good night. Check the Discord.
Yeah, check the Discord.
Tonight or tomorrow, I want to throw on BitCon and watch. Maybe tonight is a better night. Either tonight or tomorrow night. More than likely tomorrow night, though. I'll try to get out all the degenerate stuff today. That way tomorrow I'm around all day. But definitely want to watch BitCon as a group, so we can check that out as well. Appreciate that, Crypto Blood, as well. Let's see. Oh man, Jake said you called for under 10K too, CB. Hey, he might be right, Jake. It ain't too late.
Hey, man, I told you we got a possibility to close the gap at 8. That would be hilarious. It's a CME gap down at about 8-9K that we ain't filled yet. It would be hilarious to go that low because the fear and greed index, they might take it off the website. It's like,
right. Hey, we go 8K. That fear and greed coming off. Really quick, last but not least for this story, again, I just want to highlight what we've said. It has been absolutely true, and I want to also know who we should blame. As much as the Jamie Dimons are to blame and the SEC's Gary Genslers are to blame, pound crypto, LB crypto, thank you for the tip. Appreciate that. By $2 from Casper. I'm going to use it on that too. You already know it. I just want to point out that it's not the Jamie Dimons. It's not the, who else did I just say? The Elizabeth Warrens. I mean, as bad as some of these people are making this space, it's not their fault. The people to blame are the Coinbase's, Brian Armstrongs, are the Binance's, CZs, are the Jahan Woos. Everybody who has enough capital to pay for legal teams to fight against the government that decided to lay down, they are to blame for what's going on in this space. They are to blame for the lack of self-regulation. They are to blame for the lack of over-regulation now and weird-ass laws and securities. But now they want to fight. Now Coinbase is saying, hey, you guys didn't let us do a lending program. You allowed us to go public just to tell people this isn't a sign that this is a good company or Bitcoin is good. Like, you basically let us go public, then told the world, hey, we ain't telling you, we don't support this. We just letting you know they're allowed to go. Like, you did all these things to Coinbase when they tried to play by your rules. And now Coinbase is saying, fine, didn't work. Maybe we should fight. Today I'm fighting the bully.
Yeah.
That's what the bully does. It starts laughing. Boy, if you don't stop playing, give me that money.
I'm finally play that.
Yeah. So my thing is like, yeah, it's good to see. And clearly they're winning this fight already. But it's like, what took you so long? If Coinbase and like I said, Binance and all these other companies would have done this years ago, there wouldn't even be a Bitcoin ETF right now. Yeah. Literally, there would not be a Bitcoin ETF, and the market would look totally different, I think. But now they're fighting. I'm glad to see it happen finally. but it's working is my point. This wasn't me just talking shit and saying, buy lawyers, the U.S. and no, it's working. They got themselves a nice little legal team. And day one, they in court for 5 hours talking about some, oh, yeah, SEC wash, bro. They can't even argue Beanie Babies. Like, this is all you had to do years ago.
Years ago. Y'all could have did this 2017. I guess they were trying to get enough money to combat them, but I feel like they had enough money back then, too.
Man, listen.
Well, they should have got together, because like you said, when you're fighting a bully, what's easier? Fighting a bully one-on-one?
Jump that motherfucker. You think you're gonna take all the money?
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. When we had all these exchanges, if they all came together, because this is the thing, people always talk about secret societies and groups and clubs. Crypto, these exchanges, people, I'm surprised they didn't get together. They were too busy fighting and trying to be in competition, which is business. I understand. They're trying to stay under the regulations so they don't get stopped too early. But they should have been having conversations in the background. And I don't know if they have. I'm not saying they haven't, but they should have been having conversations in the background. It's like, hey, at some point, we need to all come out together and say, fuck the SEC until you come up with exactly the rules we need.
Exactly.
We're not playing this game where we have to, jump up. One Monday morning is legal. On Wednesday, it's illegal. Like, no, we're not playing these games, because if they would have stood like that, Elizabeth Warren and them, they were going to come after crypto anyway. They would have had to fight the whole industry instead of individually.
And they would have let that fight go quick.
Individually, Coinbase, individually. So now you're fighting the bully one-on-one. I mean, you have a chance, but you're probably going to walk away with a black eye. So even if they win, you still sort of lose. But all together, if they all was like, nah, fuck that. And that actually is what Cypherpunk is saying, no, we're not going for that. And as a group, that's what Cypherpunks was joined to do. Is like, no, we're going to combat this together. And you can't stop us because we're technologically as well as mentally superior, which they are.
I was about to go there.
You're smarter than these people.
I'll be trying to get to it because I know you're going to get to it.
You're smarter than these people. Me and King have met these regulators. We've met these people in person.
Got more money and smarter.
Yeah, more money and we're smarter. What are we bowing down to these people for? And I can give you reasons why I think so, but at the same time, King comes from a military background. I don't give a fuck. So it wouldn't work with us. It's just they do. So they don't really think about it in that fashion, the way that we do, where it's like, no, we pushing back against this.
This is what's crazy to me, and that's my same thoughts to piggyback. This industry, you talking about Bitcoin and then the overall cryptocurrency industry, people. Like, as a collective, we have more capital, and as a collective, we are smarter than literally the regulators trying to regulate. Like, we'll just keep it this issue between regulators and the market itself. The people in the market are smarter and have more capital than the actual regulators. Let's be clear. When it comes to these regulators and these politicians, 100. There's about 100 with money. I'm talking about the Pelosi's and the Elizabeth Warren. The people have been stealing, doing insider trading. There's only about 100 of them max people. The Gary Gensler's, I'm sure he got money. All them little peons that work under them, people, I work for the government. They ain't got money like that.
They ain't got nothing. They ride the train with you.
They don't got money like that, people. Listen, you sick a lawyer on their ass. I'm like, some of y'all don't understand this. I didn't understand it either. I was too dumb. People, I get how these wealthy people move, okay? You don't. That's why I was saying that one day in the thing. Don't stress. Don't overthink. Go about your life. I don't care if you wanted for something criminal or civil. Literally drink a mojito and go about your life. Pay your lawyers, people. They're gonna do. They are good. This is what they've studied for years. Okay, I be knowing legal stuff, people. I did an undergrad. All right, these people got a master's and doctorates and everything else in the legal field. They won't let you fall when you pay them that good dough. Okay, if the glove don't fit, I guess you gotta acquit. Okay, baby, this is what it is. Like, literally, like, just pay a lawyer. So again, shout out to Coinbase for finally dropping your nuts. Okay, you finally turned into a teenager. You got a couple whiskers on your face and everything. Shout out to you for swinging back. Now keep fighting. And if you get them down, hop on top and playground style. All right, do not stop fighting. Now that you have, this is honestly a big win on the low and is setting precedent. If they can continue to push this narrative where it's like, y'all can't even determine if Pokemon cards and Beanie Babies are securities, what are you doing trying to do something that's technologically advanced as Bitcoin and crypto? Like, you got them. You got them. Keep pushing that issue. Call up Binance and be like, before you give that $4.3 billion away, give us $100 million to see if we can save you some money. Okay. Let's work that angle. All right.
And I do want to give a shout out to you remember Niraj? We met at the Gemini Mansion party. The guy
Oh
was telling
yeah. Oh yeah, I remember him. Right,
yeah, Niraj. So he works for Coin Center, and they're one of
Okay.
the advocates on the Capitol Hill. They go and speak in front of Congress all the time, and he's saying the same thing. He was like, "We Coin Center have been doing this since I think 2014 or so." But he was like, it was hard to get other exchanges and companies to join in with the fight because they were just trying to get on their good side. But that's the thing, is like, you can't reason with a bully. Like, they're trying to take your lunch money. You can't say, all right, please only take money Monday through Wednesday, but
Right.
not
You keep
Thursday and
trying to
Friday.
talk to him.
Because the
Why
nigga's
you
gonna get
talking?
hungry on Thursday and think to himself, if I can take it Monday through Wednesday, I'm gonna take it Thursday too. And you know what? Friday is pizza day. I'm taking it Friday as well. So that's what he was saying basically in one of his posts, was like, should have been doing this before, because as you 7 years ago, you know what I mean? Like 2017, it would have been even less versed in crypto. They wouldn't even really know what they were fighting against. So we had the event, but at least they're still fighting now.
Yep. I saw a couple of funny comments. Shout out to everybody. Where is it? Yeah. Reggie Middleton, aka Satoshi Nakanegro, says Jake Fever. That's a pretty good one. Let's see. You can create your own birth certificate. Birth certificate. You just need to file a copy with the state, city. All right, cool.
Hey, I didn't want to get into it. I didn't want to get into it, but technically we are securities, because your birth certificate is a legal document saying that your body belongs to the United States corporation. So technically, everybody born with a birth certificate, yeah, you are collateral for the U.S. War machine. Oh well.
Yeah, really quick, I agree with Ross Shu here. S1 Dubs is going on. S1 from Canada said, Jake Fever, okay, how long are we going to kick the Hexicans? I'm thinking we got 3 months. However, if Richard gets arrested, all bets are off. I went Ross Shu. Hexicans, y'all wanted the limelight, you got it. Hexicans will be in the history books with BitConnect. I agree. Hexicans are going in the history books with BitConnect, straight up.
Yeah.
I want to see all them houses everybody bought. I want to see all them damn houses everybody bought. Yeah, I don't think the Hex thing will ever stop. They wanted it though. You gotta remember, they wanted this. We didn't select it. They wanted it. All right, quick story, kind of piggybacking on what we talked about Wednesday. If you remember, I was talking about Ethereum dominance, more than likely not flipping Bitcoin anytime soon. It was funny to actually see the story come out. Ethereum looks to end 18-month losing streak versus Bitcoin. Yeah, I mean, again, they watch our show, they create stories, but they don't say nothing. Whatever. Bitcoin is not out of the woods when it comes to selling, as a Bitcoin price drop to near 40,000 further unnerves traders. Again, this is what I strongly dislike about the community, or this market, because it's not the community, it's the market. The fact that the price of Bitcoin has dipped the way it's dipped right now, nothing has changed with Bitcoin the last year or two, people. Like, they only added. If anything, they just added a new feature. You now can have a Bitcoin ETF. Like, the price should be continuously pumping. This is why, and this goes back to Jake. It's not that, like, I'm not agreeing with you in the price predictions and stuff. I'm not agreeing with the people and the market participants. Like, there isn't any, like, we're not moving smart. These aren't intelligent. We're literally moving off the psychological trading chart, which everyone knows is a terrible idea to do. But literally, the price or the fear and greed index drops 20 points in a couple of days, all because the ETF has been launched and you got the halving coming up. It makes absolutely no sense. So, yeah, it doesn't make sense. But yeah, Bitcoin did. Now, if of course the storyline goes to, well, is Ethereum? Is it their turn? Is it their chance? I don't think so, but that's the story here today. Popular trader and analyst Rec Capital argued that Bitcoin is now fulfilling classic moves normally seen before a block subsidy halvings. As Cointelegraph reported, this calls for a retreat over the coming months or a month before the halving event in April, which we kind of predicted as well here. We said it wouldn't surprise us if it goes sideways or even dips before we had that slow gain at the halving. And then remember, that slow gain continues out into next year, usually the following year. So when you see the big pump, so that's kind of normal as well. But a lot of these people are saying that, hey, while Bitcoin's taking this dip and while Bitcoin's retracing, now it's time to turn to altcoins. They're saying Ethereum, Bitcoin is on the radar as a pair faced with a long-term downward trend line, but has made swift advances against Bitcoin since last week. Ether passed 0.06 Bitcoin before consolidating near that level, its highest since April of 2022. Again, while I do think this is good for Ethereum, I don't think it's sustainable. I think this all happened because of what they already explained. The quick dip happened after the ETF. Altcoins are getting the win from Bitcoin pumping. They're starting to pump or whatever. We always see that a few days and not a week afterwards. And I think Ethereum just got caught up in that whole that same type of turbulence as well. Bitcoin pump, altcoins started pumping, Bitcoin's dipping, altcoins are still pumping, looking good. And all of a sudden you're saying Ethereum may get some of his dominance back. It's not happening, but it's funny that they actually talk about this. What do you think about this consolidation here?
Oh my god! How many times are we gonna talk about Ethereum, Bitcoin flipping, which is never happening? But it's funny because Ethereum, like we've stated before, is that there's platforms that do what Ethereum does better than Ethereum. Like Solana is cheaper, it's faster, it does go out every now and then, but hey, validators and all that's involved with Ethereum. As people with Solana feel like they have a better chance. The funny thing is like now you can do stuff that Ethereum does more securely on Bitcoin, or you can do it faster on Solana. So it's like, why are we using Ethereum? But also too, as far as the outperform thing that people are just talking about with Ethereum outperforming Bitcoin, that's in fiat, people. At some point, people gonna have to realize, and look, Ethereum has not reached parity with Bitcoin at any point. It had this bull run in 2000. All the cryptos had their bull run in 2017 against Bitcoin. This time around, maybe not so much. So, the flipping, that is a myth. And if that does happen, hey, we were wrong. But I just don't see it happening with Ethereum right now. They are bleeding out at this point out of the high fees, and it's only going to get worse as more people come into the market. So it is what it is. I'm tired of talking about Ethereum. Anybody that likes it, that likes Ethereum, I think they're tired of talking about it because they're like, all right, all these updates, all this new stuff, all this blah blah, and nothing's really happened.
And to be clear, not if it were to flip, I don't think it's just happening in the short term. I think if and when Ethereum were to flip Bitcoin, it would be when Ethereum's like almost done being built. Like, all right, we got the majority of this stuff where our thoughts were and the goals and game plans. So 19 years. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, like another at least 4 to 6 years, right? At least 4 to 6 years. And then at that time, I also think Bitcoin would either have to be relegated to just a store of value, where it's just like, no, the United States has put the foot down. We're using ETFs, we're using CBDCs. The only time people use Bitcoin is if you're a big financial bank or whatever, something like that, where you need that type of reserve, or if they finally figure out a competitor to beat it. That's the only two ways I think Ethereum was. So first, Ethereum, everything will have to be clicking and ticking. Everything will have to be working and working well. And then Bitcoin would either have to be relegated to just a reserve currency, only for the big guys and gals. And what I mean by that is the same way you have satellites for the internet, right? They end up saying, okay, only internet service providers. Saying, what are we doing with Bitcoin exchanges? I forgot what they call it. Something providers, cryptocurrency, whatever.
Digital assets providers.
Yeah, virtual asset providers or whatever. So same thing. They said only people allowed to actually own the internet or create internet or have satellites are now internet service providers. So once upon a time, if you were to actually have a satellite market, you could say, well, satellites are worth this much. We can see them going this much because everybody needs internet and everybody's going to get a satellite. And then all of a sudden the government says, well, no, only 30 people are allowed these satellites. It's like, well, there's that market. Same thing with Bitcoin. If they were to actually go that route and say, no, we're going to use CBDCs, we're going to use cash, we're going to use this, and the only people allowed to even have Bitcoin in mass for reservations are going to be banks and virtual asset providers, that's the only way I see a flipping happening. That's A. B, one thing I want to point out, with the exception of a occasional pair of seeing glasses, this is how every Ethereum maxi looks. Like, I'm not even being funny. This is literally like, it's like the bro. Yeah. It's literally the bro. Like,
yeah. I mean, it would be a nigga named Caleb.
That's what they all, bro. They all. Every Ethereum maxi has this corporate, quasi modern. Like, I wear button ups with the top 2 buttons unbuttoned. Like, they all got the same look on them. So I don't know. To me, that's kind of telling too. Like, literally every Ethereum maxi looks very similar. It looks like they all grew up with money and stuff, and it's just like, I see what you're trying to do here, but and then they make comments like this: Ethereum is poised to outperform Bitcoin going forward. Really, like going forward.
I don't think people understand money. I don't think people
right.
understand money.
This is what I'm saying. So to me, these type of takes are weird. Again, I like Bankless as well. Bankless, Ryan and Sean or whatever, they look exactly like this guy too. They do a great job, but it's just like the Ethereum maximalists in them is just too much to bear sometimes. It's like, yo, are you not seeing the same holes in the defense that I'm seeing? Because wow, Ethereum has many.
Massive holes. And they start to look like traditional finance people. That's what that's what happens when you give in to the Joe Lubins of the world and to all of these, investors that basically have validators, and they've pumped all this VC money with what's my guy's name? Andreessen Horowitz. When you have all the VC money rolling in there, these are tech companies. Again, people don't understand money, so they keep thinking like this is a competition. There's tech projects and then there's Bitcoin. So you can speculate on tech projects. It's cool, but it'll never be money. So I don't know traditional finance with them. I guess it works because they got rich off of it. But you're right. They all look the same. All of them look like Patrick Bates.
Literally.
They're about to go murder. They're about to go murder somebody.
There we go. Yeah.
They all look like Patrick Bates. Got the axe in the closet. Still shouting out Ethereum flipping in theories.
Riding around in BMW saying, well, why did she like those guys and not me? All right. Donald Trump's NFT collection coming to Bitcoin ordinals. What's going on with the Trumpster? What's going on? I thought old girl, was it Fanny? I don't know her name. I thought a girl who's trying to lock up Young Thug had Donald Trump on the hook too. What's going on down there with Atlanta?
Oh, you talking about Fannie Willis? Oh
yeah. She said we getting everybody
for forgiveness in front of the church. Oh man,
wait, she was?
Yeah, she was in front of the church saying you cannot make a black woman be perfect. I'm not perfect. I've made mistakes. I was like, shut up.
Is that the route? Is that the route that she went with it?
She went with the politician route. Go and beg and plead in front of the church. But
let me politics, church, and black woman. Oh man, this is a dub if I've ever heard it.
That's what I said. Oh yeah, she know the play, boy. They'll definitely help out. But Donald Trump, even though the tweet will live in infamy, Donald Trump saying Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are thin air, is now coming with his second NFT collection, but this time it's on Bitcoin ordinals. He's offering a new limited edition mugshot NFT collection that will soon be inscribed on ordinals as ordinals on Bitcoin. And that's one thing you can't take away from this man. If politics aside, this man is a former president, billionaire, still out here pushing out NFTs. he's like, man,
I'm a hustler.
I'm about to make money off my mugshot. Oh, this is what you call a hustler. Whenever you can make money off your mugshot, oh yeah, you in there. So the Trump digital trading card is a collection of 200 cards, will be the only Trump collection on the Bitcoin network. Because they're going to be inscribed on the Bitcoin blockchain, you will forever get to see Trump's NFT collection on the Bitcoin blockchain forever and ever. But one of the things, there's a catch. Buyers must have enough WETH, which again, all this wrapped Ethereum, wrapped Bitcoin. Come on, man. Like, I don't even use condoms. They're trying to wrap up too much. To pay for their trading cards. Wrapped Ethereum is the version of Ethereum that traders can use on a ERC20 compatible blockchain. According to terms and conditions, buyers can only trade the cards in the marketplace starting in December 2024. So if you buy it, you can't really trade it until December. However, I think some people will get it as a way, as sort of a collectible. And honestly, this was probably a better investment than ETF.
To be honest, I agree with that. I would agree with that.
If you get a Trump NFT and he gets elected president, you basically just 10x your stack at that point, because
that's the comments of Uppus right there.
Yeah, that's a collectible right there. That's something that is going to live on the Bitcoin blockchain forever. And there's no other president or politicians that I know of that are doing the same thing. And I honestly think it's not Trump doing it. He has somebody that's behind him that he trusts, who basically was like, look, this is free money. We make $1 million every time we put this out. We make 10 million every time we put this out. And you have these supporters, it sells out in a matter of minutes. So, hey, my man, a hustler, he's like, all right, make the money, bring it back to me. All right, let's see what we do with it. You know what I mean? So this is something that I think kind of is flying under the radar, because a lot of people don't like Trump or whatever, and people that don't like him. However, it is funny seeing like the cross in the different types of crowds. It's like, well, I don't like Trump, but I like crypto, or I don't like crypto, but I like Trump. You know what I mean? So bringing those paths together, we keep telling you everybody is going to have to use Bitcoin at some point. So it is what it is. I'm not surprised that he's using it, even though he did tweet out that Bitcoin and cryptocurrency was thin air and you can't use it. How many times we got to tell y'all, do not listen to these politicians. They will drive the price down or push down some of the interest just to get it themselves. China did it for years. Jamie Dimon's doing it right now. Trump, it's the same thing. Don't listen to these people. Whenever you hear them, do the opposite.
And really quick, a couple things. So no, this is a BTC hoodie for Bitcoin. Somebody says it's a Bitcoin Cash hoodie.
Bitcoin Cash hoodie.
Shout out to Antonio from the UK, though. Tony, I'm gonna have to start calling you Antonio from Bali. He's been holding down in Bali for so many years. But no, this is one of Antonio hoodies. Shout out to Jake Fever. He makes great hoodies too. BK Crypto. Stat got some good shirts. Like everybody out there, just in case I forget anybody. Chloe Dior said, "Do you hold Ethereum in your bag?" So I no longer really hold it. If there's something coming up, I might trade it, but I don't hold Ethereum only because you know me, people. I'm a degen, all right? Like 2,500, 2,300, slow moving. I'm cool. Like, so you just saw Solana. You saw what happened with Solana and them, right? Like, all right, seriously though. You saw Solana. Just a few weeks ago, Solana was what, 40, 50, 60 bucks max? Maybe I'm gonna say 40, like a few weeks, a month or so ago.
Yeah.
And now it's at $100. Like, no, I wouldn't want to stay in Ethereum because of moves like that. Now, if I'm talking about investing in long term, I guess, but even then, it's like, what's the next move for Ethereum? Let's be realistic. The next move ceiling for Ethereum, people, is 5 to 10K. So you're talking about doubling, tripling, possibly quadrupling, right? 400% times 4. But that's with $2,500. Like, I mean, it's better. I mean, I just literally called OVR the other day. I was a 30%er in 2 or 3 days. Like, nah, I'm not keeping 2,500, multiple 2,500s in there, right? Because that's just one Ethereum. I don't even know the price right now. Let's say one Ethereum is 2,500. So I'm supposed to put in what? Freaking 30K, 20K to have any type of real payback if it were to pop, versus, again, using that same 2,500, just putting that in Solana, or using that same 2,500 and sprinkling it through 3 or 4 different projects. What you about to say?
Yeah, those transaction fees are gonna get you out of there anyway. And then anytime you try to get something, you're like, man, it's $40. It's $100.
40. It's like, there we go. More.
Yeah, it's like it's $200 for a transaction. It's like, what are we doing here? And this is the thing. Like when you say, you know, DJs, if you think about it like casino, would you rather sit for 8 hours and maybe win at poker, or would you rather just go play the tables and play the slots, and I can make 10 times the money you're gonna make? Because if you lose, if Ethereum, let's say Ethereum doesn't work out the kinks and the transaction fees are still high after this year, you're gonna be sitting there for 8 hours playing poker and walk away with nothing but memories. That's all you. Whereas we over here at the tables, we having fun, we gambling, we had the slots, we making money, and we come back to you. Oh, how was it? Oh man, I lost. So you did all that. You've been sitting there holding all that money for 8 hours, and you didn't have no fun while you was doing it. Yeah, man, get out of this.
Hey, if anything, I mean, look. It's just a high number for sure, but yeah, plays like Casper. I mean, slow growth. They're going to get their pumps. I think Casper will do a crazy pump next year, if not end of this year. So I'm with you. Stuff like Casper, I don't know how much that is. It's probably pennies on the dollar right now. But yeah, you get something like that. Again, same 2,500. I think I'll get a better return in a shorter span with Casper than I could with Ethereum at this point. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts. All right, last but not least, socialism condemns people to poverty, says Argentina's Milei. Tells Western world at WEF. If you missed it, Argentina's President Milei, Javier Milei, delivered a speech at the World Economic Forum where he advocated free market capitalism as a means to end poverty, and also simultaneously went at everybody in the crowd in a polite, nice way, in a professional way. He basically was like, all y'all done lost your mind, specifically talking about the West and the Western powers that be. So EU, anybody partner with the West. He was like, the way y'all doing business, the way y'all doing things socially, the way y'all moving in general is freaking crazy. And he also doubled down in saying that, hey, it's not that socialism and he called it collectivism, I think, which he was essentially talking about communism. But he's like, it's not that these things are slowing us down or messing up the growth. He's like, no, these are the things to blame. He's like, this is the problem right now, and I'm with them. Accountability, stand on your own 2 feet. Stop trying to share shit. Sheep share. If you want them people trying to share shit, I need government for this, I need that. You are the freaking problem. Stop trying to share. Stop trying to look for a teammate and whatever. Get on your own 2 feet and make shit shake, okay? Argentine President Javier Milei believes that a shift toward collectivism in the Western world will inevitably lead to socialism and risk condemning people to poverty. Now, I'm not going to get into the entire speech because it is straying away from crypto, but we wanted to actually talk about this because if you remember, he is the Argentine president who's actually backing Bitcoin and allowing other people from provinces to create their own currency, whatever it is. And he says, may the best one win. Now, of course, we don't know if he's going to stick to that, but at least he's allowing it. So this, again, is the recently elected Argentine economist. President delivered a speech at the World Economic Forum, arguing that the Western world faces a significant threat driven by a shift toward collectivist policies in recent decades. This is also important because this is where we're at in society, where it comes to our finances, our economy, which is why Bitcoin is here to say, hey, you don't need to share. You don't need to do this with your government. You can just have your own Bitcoin and whatever happens, happens. But I'm glad he gave this speech. And not only did he give this speech as a beacon, I think, for individuality and freedom of doing your own thing, but also it shows the essence of Bitcoin, where it's like, hey, if you have your own Bitcoin, the things he's preaching against, you literally can't enact a collectivist, or it's really just communism. He didn't want to say that word, but you can't even enact communism if everybody has their own Bitcoin. How are you going to force everybody to give you their Bitcoin unless you're doing it from a physical standpoint? And even then, there are going to be some diehard people going to say, hey, you're going to have to kill me, brother. I'm not giving it up.
Yeah.
But what are your thoughts about him going to the WEF and spitting that hot fire to the world?
Oh, yeah. I would encourage anybody to watch his 20-minute speech. They do have a AI translate into English where, it comes through beautifully because I know some people don't like to look at subtitles. But, yeah, watch that speech, what he was talking about. What I've gotten from his whole ideal right now, I'm more of a skeptic of Milei only because he's saying everything that I think people want to hear. I think at his core, he does have... Yeah, I would say at his core, he does have the libertarian principles down, the right to life, liberty, and property, and the pillars that are there. However, if you want to be president of a large country or a larger country like Argentina, you're gonna have to kiss the ring a little bit, which he has had to do. And this is what I see: is this either gonna go one of two ways. Either he is a genius who realizes that if he fake kisses the ring, they'll leave him alone, and he can enact all this stuff that'll fly under the radar. Or secondly, he's basically just saying what people want to hear, get them on his side, bring in a lot of capital, only to turn it over to whoever the overlords are. So Milei, mixed feelings right now, but honestly, seeing some of the actions he's taken, where he's had to kiss the ring, he's had to do what you have to do as a president. I just think he just don't want to die, and I don't really blame people for that. People try to make it like this whole huge quasi thing to figure out about why presidents and why government officials don't do certain things. They just don't want to die. Neither do you. You would probably do the same thing if you were in position, because when you get to the higher levels, they're not coming in and having conversations with you more than once. They're gonna talk to you one time. They're gonna check your temperature, and then they're gonna tell you, "Hey, by the way, I went by your mother's house the other day. I like a garden." You're like, "What? Your grandmother? I saw her in the stores.
She doesn't live in this country." Yeah, I know.
Yeah. And exactly. And I'm glad somebody threw that in there. Lord Smith just said it. He's a businessman. That's what you have to understand is if you are a businessman, you got to work with people you like and don't like. That's why people that's never run a business or that don't understand entrepreneurship, you can't be in your feelings. You can't be like, oh, I don't like this person, so I'm not going to work with them. Ooh, I don't like what they say.
A lot of people I don't like.
Exactly. I work with people I don't like all the time. That's what I'm saying.
I'm in Hollywood. That's tell you everything I need to know.
That's what I'm saying. You gotta
working with some interesting human beings. We'll just say humans.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. Whether you got a business or a baby mama, you're gonna have to work with somebody you don't like. Either one or the other. But Milei, that's what I'm saying. Like I don't really get into the I love politicians, I worship politics, this is my leader type shit. It's like nah. I just want him to do what he said he's gonna do, and that's it. That's pretty much all I expect out of a politician, even though they never do it, which is why I don't care. But when it comes to politics, my only two things that I ask for is let me have my guns and lower taxes. If I can provide for my family and protect it, I'm pretty much good from there. So if Milei is doing that, cool, more power to him. If he has to kiss the ring a few times, hey, that's business. Nobody's jumping into presidency saying, yeah, fuck everybody and forget. No, nigga, that is a fantasy world that you can live out on GTA 6.
Hey, Loki, appreciate the tip. Appreciate the tips. Happy Born Day. Everything on sale. Let's see. Happy birthday, Trap Zero. His was on Wednesday. All these caps in the house. There we go. Let's see. Rants Q said, yeah, he says everything people want to hear. Where can I sell my soul for one full Bitcoin? Listen, don't say that, because soon enough people will have the deal for you. It will be on the market. You said your soul for a Bitcoin, eh? Let's see what else we had. Hey, smash them likes, people. Smash them likes. There we go. Yep, people saying he don't want to die. He going against the grain. They had, yeah, he was invited, but yeah, he had no choice but to be invited. He is the first libertarian president, I believe, in the world ever, or just right now. I don't know. Modern times for sure. He's one of the first. He's one of the first libertarian presidents, so they definitely had to invite him. Let's see, Malia over a milli, Malaya over a milli. You funny. Malaya was crawling in those tunnels and okay, y'all are crazy. But I just be starting to read stuff and then I don't finish. Here's what the I wanted to read this quote real quick before we call it. This was what I actually took from his speech that I wanted to share. I kind of lost my train of thought when I was reading it earlier, which I want to look for it. He's quoted as saying, talking about the Western world, it is in danger because those who are supposed to defend the values of the Western world are co-opted by a worldview that inevitably leads to socialism and consequently to poverty and economic deprivation. Malai said, this is what I want to talk about because this is what I scream on this show all the time. A lot of people in power in the United States, regulators and politicians for the most part, and we really could actually go to CEOs as well, though the private sectors and free market capitalism, I give them a little bit of leeway, but especially for the regulators and politicians, if I were in charge, motherfuckers would be getting brought up on treason left and right. Yeah. You all have to understand the things and the stuff the SEC Gary Gensler is doing is treasonous. Yeah. Yes, you are protecting your banking friends, right? You're protecting 10 to 15 people. And I know their argument already. I'll lead the argument for them. Those 10 or 15 people you're protecting, maybe they employ 2 million Americans. Let's say off the top of my head, 15 banks, 2 million Americans. That's not a stretch, right? So maybe this is all true. But what about the collective? What about the other 300 million Americans, right? Yeah. Like, you can't just pick and choose how you're going to protect certain small parts of the community in America and not the overall community of all of America. So to me, a lot of these people be brought up on treason. I keep telling you, these people have homes in other places, families and other people. I've been in the military. Motherfuckers got families in other places. They literally deploy every year, half the year, to go live with their family in another country. Then they come back to the U.S. where they just kind of live at, really, but they really don't live here, okay? I've experienced I had a girlfriend in another country, people.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, let's keep it real. I've dated a woman in the Middle East before, like, dated. I used to have to go to the Middle East like once a month, people. I was dating. Did it in Hong Kong.
It's a lot of light skinned women in Germany. That's all I gotta say.
Listen, I almost moved to Tokyo before I moved to Los Angeles. People like, this is real. So I'm trying to tell you, these people who have capital, who are in positions of power, the United States is number 2 in their brain. They don't care about this being the end all be all. This is treason. And now it's like, if you don't believe me, none other than a foreign president is saying it. A foreign president is putting it out there. Hey, he over here. Hey, to keep it real with y'all. He's like, y'all in danger because y'all values you co-opted. Well, how can you co-opt values unless you're in a position of leadership, which is why I'm saying politicians and regulators, you have co-opted a worldview that's going to lead to socialism, to poverty and economic deprivation. And these aren't even Western values. You're capitalists. Yeah. Thank you for pointing that out. The people in power don't represent the people here today. They should be brought up with treason. They should be at least molasses and feathered, since I said I don't want to hurt nobody. I don't want hot tar and feather, though, maybe cold tar and feather. But they need this treatment. But instead, everybody is just sheeping it on up. Sheep. We got Reggie Middleton in the house. Get him on really quick before we call this a day. Got to hear what his thoughts. Reggie, what's the word? What's going on? How you been?
Hey, what's up, brothers?
Reggie,
hey, what you okay, I'm about to say, what Reggie? Oh, I was about to turn this off, Reggie. I didn't know what was happening. Hey, I saw a lampshade and the edge of whoa, hold on, brother. This is not how I play the game.
So close up my chest so all the Hexagon,
Reggie came over here. Hold on now. How's everything been, Reggie? What news do you have for us? Hey, are you pressing the government yet or not? What's going on with that?
Pressing, you mean in terms of patents?
Yeah, they need to be enforcing patents. What's the word?
Well, see, because it's not the government's job it's not the government's job to enforce the patents. It's my job. Okay.
Okay. So how's that?
So,
Tell us how this works.
you know, I'm going to, well, I posted links. You could see, you know, the a very, very large crypto company came to invalidate patents that I had owned, and I sent you a whole history of it. You know, so the way this works is, I don't want to speak on it directly, but you can Google it yourself. You know, do Coinbase Capital versus Veritasium IPR, and look at the whole history. You know, they sued, or the equivalent of suing, to try and invalidate a patent. We replied, a decision was rendered, and then a request for a rehearing was requested. So take a look at it and see for yourself. You know, I see now a lot of people in the street are not paying attention to what's going on behind the scenes. I don't want to speak on it directly, but just take a look for yourselves, and, you know, you see the landscape looks like it's going to change significantly. But you know, I'm not going to speak on it directly. So you simply.
So there's been new literature out? The last stuff I've seen from last year. Has it been like last summertime? I was seeing reports coming out. Has it been new stuff coming out as well?
The most recent decision was a few days ago.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen that one then. Okay,
and
all right, cool.
So, you know, starting in March, again, I don't want to speak on it, but take a look for yourself, and you're gonna be like, whoa, you know, things are happening.
That's what I'm talking
You
about.
know,
Right,
of course,
gonna take a peek.
You know,
I would love nothing more for Reggie to win this case against Coinbase. That'd be the best shit ever. They don't have enough capital to support the ETFs, and then bring down the whole market.
I'm not going to speak on anything in particular, but here, yeah. As a matter of fact, hold on.
You just froze up a little bit, Reggie.
Yeah, I think you froze up, Reggie.
I'm over here looking for the articles now. I was like, I'm seeing stuff from last year, but I definitely want to check that out. Yep.
Okay. So in the meantime, so what's up with Richard Hart? Because all the hexagons, like, all Reg, you know, your fake report, and you don't know what you're talking about, et cetera, et cetera. You know, math is math. Common sense is common sense. I feel bad for the hexagons, because a lot of your constituency are brothers and sisters who probably couldn't afford the loss, you know, and Hex was a guaranteed loss. And I feel bad because, you know, they followed the false messiah. Now, the only problem is the entities that took him down. I can't speak on it directly, but, you know, I'm not necessarily their biggest fan either. But let it be a lesson learned that you have to be very, very, very careful. Okay, I'll put all the information out at least a year, 2 years in advance, for people who were in Hex to do their own research and figure whether they should have been in or not. And instead of people taking it seriously, you know, they were calling brothers names and, you know, not using empirical research, critical thought. That's not how it works. So I feel bad for them, but, you know, very, very expensive tuition. You understand?
Yeah, you know what? And one thing I think the community would have loved to see, and still to this day would love, is to have a you and Richard Hart debate. I tried to reach out to him a couple times more, but hey, he might be on the lamb. I can't.
No, Richard doesn't want that smoke. He didn't want it then. He doesn't want it now, and he's never going to want it. You know, listen. Right now, his lawyers told him to shut up. Okay, which he should have did a while back. But Richard and I are two different levels, and now, you know, I think I'm fairly humble. Okay, but let's be real. You know, Richard and I are two different animals.
Well, I agree with that statement, and that's why it's not just you either. I think anyone was in Bitcoin before 2014, he really don't want to debate, because then it's like, all right, we'll debate another OG then. Somebody who gonna know every last detail what you're talking about, and it's just like, I'd rather debate
or somebody in finance.
Get somebody. He likes debating new people, or people who can't go that deep into the history of Bitcoin and things, to call him on the BS and that stuff. But my biggest thing is that he's disappeared. One thing I do not like on any level where there's politics and regulators, especially anybody who gets taxpayer money, anybody who gets public money, to me, you are not allowed to not make statements and disappear. I hate that. To me, once again, if I was in charge, that would be illegal in the United States. If you've taken a bunch of public money, there is no more, well, I don't want to talk today, or I'm gonna hide out. Like, hell to the no. We protecting you with our military and police, right? All right, well, you can at least say something. So that's how I feel about the whole thing. I strongly dislike that he's disappeared. He's deleted. Because here's my thing. If you are innocent, Richard Hart, everything's good, why delete the Twitter stuff? Why disappear? Why stop talking? That stuff doesn't make sense to me. If what you're doing is, if you're not doing nothing wrong, you should be talking louder, you should be posting more tweets, and you should be doing more Louis Vuitton victory laps. You shouldn't be digressing and retracing back. So that's my biggest issue with it right there. That I do have to call out is like, come on now. If you're being real about what you're being real about, ride it out to the end. Don't get to getting all quiet and whispering and shit now.
Hey, man.
Well, I'm not going to speak on what he did wrong. Hold 1 second. Talk. Give me like 10 seconds. I'm going to send you a link. Okay. Right. Give me 10 seconds.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know he's talking to his lawyers, but he need to talk to a stylist because the nigga still can't dress. I know he's somewhere wearing off-brand Fendi backpack with a Louis shirt with a Burberry. It was like he was trying to put every brand he could think of on at the same time.
Boy, looking like DJ Vlad out there. Boy.
Yeah, looking terrible. That's what I'm saying. Like, bro, he looked terrible out here, and he was actually getting people with that. Oh yeah, I went to the store and bought $10,000 worth of stuff. Well, yeah, it's my money. You just walked in there with it, and you just bought.
Yeah, sacrifice money, motherfucker. If somebody sacrificed $500 million to me, I'll be walking out of every store too. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, and the funniest thing was, and Reggie brought it up when he debated him, and when me and you talked with him, we weren't debating, we were just letting him talk. I mean, it's on the front page, literally. If you copy and paste certificate of deposit onto your site, and you put it on the SEC website, that's illegal. Like, that's it. Like, that should have been the end of the conversation, but he wants to go. I mean, and his debate style is always funny because you could tell he tries to basically bring the level down to be calm. The problem is with him, his calmness is rooted in scamming. So he's doing it for a reason to make himself not get too high or too low because he's not actually selling anything. So it was always funny watching Richard Hart because I was like, he knows the game. He knows how to do. He's done this before. He knows how to make it seem like to dummies. Yeah. I know what I'm doing. I'm calm. I'm Richard Hart. I'm sitting in a king chair. I got the biggest diamond in the world. Like, listen to me.
And
like,
see, this is, and last but not least, that was, again, I'm all for the personality, but that's my only, like, that's what we pushing. Bitcoin and crypto is good because I got all the watches, cars, and the riches in the world. Like, again, all that says to me is if Bill Gates and Warren Buffett and Elon Musk and what's the other Amazon guy? What's his name?
Bezos.
Whatever him. Bezos. If they all said, hey, son, come on down here and we're going to write you a blank check. You just need to wear this blindfold and come in the room naked for the rest of the night. All these people going to do it. They're going to wear a blindfold. They're going to walk in a room full of 4 billionaires naked. And they're going to be like, walking out rich tomorrow. It's like, money's not that serious to me. It's just not that serious. It's just never been that serious. It's kind of weird. Like that thought process.
That's a regular Tuesday.
Right.
Yeah, well, let me try and share my limited knowledge. And
let's do this.
King, take a look at the message I sent you and open it up.
Wait. Is it a private chat or is there, were you on Signal?
The other one. I don't want to, discuss the other one.
I got you.
Okay. So if you look at people who are truly, truly wealthy, right? Do they wear Louis Vuitton suits? Think about it. When's the last time you saw Bill Gates in a Louis Vuitton suit? Talk about I got the biggest diamond in the world. How about Elon Musk? Elon Musk, there was an article, his girlfriend was complaining because he wouldn't buy a new mattress in a box spring and the springs were coming out the old one. And she was complaining about it. Okay. No, wealthy people don't buy signs that say I'm a wealthy person.
Right.
So whenever you see someone who buys a sign and puts it on around his neck like a nameplate, talk about I'm large, he's not. Because that's not what large people do. Okay.
18-year-olds don't know that. 18 and 19-year-olds don't know that.
Yeah. So just his behavior alone should have raised red flags. But digging in, Hex is an obvious scam. And I'm not going to speak on what he did wrong or what crimes he did, etc. Because that's not me. I'm not going to do that.
Shit, why you ain't speaking on this? What's going on?
Because I don't do that because the enforcement arms of certain agencies, they've done wrong.
To do this process. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So
we know on this side.
I'll say this. I got to share it with Zay soon. I'll say this, folks. Reggie has a case right now. He just sent me something. Unless he's going through the trouble of manufacturing and doctoring documents, which he never came across as that.
Okay, but stop. Let me let you stop right there.
Yeah.
Just click the links because those are links that go to a government website.
Boom. Okay, perfect. So there we go.
Each link goes to a government website. You could drop down. I don't want to speak on it directly. I don't want to say anything more.
And I'm not going to say it directly. I got you.
Okay, you can say it. I can't say it, but just click the link. It brings you to the hearing, the court, the trials, the results, the decisions. I think there are 4 or 5 of them.
Well, right now, I'm gonna check this out this weekend. I'll share it with Discord. What I'm seeing right now, folks, is that Coinbase. Okay, so of course Reggie Milton did the lawsuit. Essentially, maybe not the wrong word, but he filed against Coinbase saying, "Hey, I got a patent. They're one of the big companies invalidating this patent." They actually went to court. Back and forth. Patent judge says Coinbase has no reasonable chance at trial. They're saying, Coinbase, you're not going to win this. Coinbase tried to get a rehearing end of last year. Just a few days ago, the judge denied the rehearing. They're standing with there's no reason to go to trial. There's nothing to do here. You don't have a chance of this. So the way it looks right now, according to these judges in this date, which again, this was 5 days ago right now, is that, yeah, Coinbase is about to get their ass handed to them soon. I can't wait to see what happens with this, Reggie. I'm going to do my research this weekend. I appreciate you sending this with the links. But, yeah, we're definitely going to do the homework on this. But, yeah, I mean, let me ask you this. Let's go a different route. I don't want to go just straight technical really quick. Zave, you got to go.
And let me just jump in one more time because there's a lot of legal,
Right. I was about to get away from the legal stuff, too, but go ahead.
Yeah, well, I'm not. You can. I'm not. Okay. I'm not saying Coinbase is going to get, their asses handed to them. I'm not saying it. I'm just saying, look at the actual legal documents. If you go to the USPTO, the patent office, this is their administrative arm, their trial arm within the patent office. And just take a look at the petitions filed, what the judges said, what the decisions were. Gives me a reason to do that, So, there's a lot going on behind the scenes, and you cannot get your education in this space from CoinDesk, right? CoinDesk is yet to mention anything about me positive. And if someone just said something negative about me, it's all over the place on the front page. So you need to go to primary sources.
Hey, Reggie, how many times I try to get you on CoinDesk and the producers shut it down? I try to bring Reggie on there like 4 different times, try to sneak him on there on the panel, try to bring him in for, some other subject and just bring him on. Every time they sign in, it's like, hold up, that name looks familiar. And I'm like, see, I know y'all got a database somewhere where you can't bring on Reggie. But I'm like, y'all don't understand. It's like, I'm basically exposing y'all that you all are working for these bigger financial companies, and you can't have Reggie on there to discuss it because it would just invalidate basically your sponsorships, your money, your whatever. But we already know CoinDesk is the ops based on that whole scenario last year that happened with them with me. But it's funny because people actually listen to the news they're putting out, and I'm like, bro, they're worse than CNN or Fox because I got to be on the inside and see it. Like, I'm bringing them good stories, and they're like, no, this week we have to talk about this. We have to talk about that. And I'm like, oh yeah, y'all are just playing to the sponsors, which is cool if you just want to make money. But there, any sort of credence to what they say is out the window. It's all gone.
If you look at those government documents that I pointed you to, I should be, front and center on every crypto and business and finance and tech rag around. But
let me ask you this, Reggie. A couple quick ones. First, when do you think this will end? Like how long is this going to be? In more years, months? When do you think this will kind of end? And what do you see the resolution being from your point of view?
Well, it depends on what you mean by this. So this as in what?
Well, they're invalidating your patents right now, or they haven't been recognized, I would say. So for the bigger companies, let's not talk about the news and narratives, but we're actually, where the rubber meets the road as far as I have my patents. You all are doing things with my technology and you're not even crediting me. When do you think that part will end?
Well, there's too many variables. First, let me correct what you said. They didn't invalidate a patent. They petitioned with the largest patent bench in the country, if I'm not mistaken, about 500 lawyers with just patent lawyers to invalidate it. And, take a look at what happens when they tried it, extreme rebuff. And then they tried again. Take a look at what happened. Okay. Actually, I take extreme rebuff back. I'm not going to say anything about it. You take a look at what the judges said. Okay. A lot of people don't understand what happens if you are strategic, driven, and smart with a little luck. A small company, very small company, Massimo, took out challenge one of the biggest company in this country, Apple, and they went back and forth and back and forth. And if anybody uses Apple products, your Apple Watch can no longer do blood oxygen sensing. Okay, they've been banned internationally by the ITC and upheld in the US. Apple pulled the watches back, had to put new watches out without the programming to do it. This is a pretty big deal. You know, I think Apple Watches are what, $100 billion a year, $90 billion a year. I'm taking a guess. I don't know exactly, but somewhere around there. It's pretty good business. And that's a small company exercising its IP rights against a big company. I'm not going to speak on my IP, on my patents at all, which is why I sent links over to King for him to go to the patent site and just look for himself. I'm not even going to comment on it, but I'm very confident about what it says. And if everybody looked at what it says, the conversation would be totally different all the way around. Yeah. Okay, don't think just because there's a small guy or he's a brother, if that's not the way it works. If you're driven, you know what you're talking about. Okay.
Hey Reggie, I don't know if you saw this comment that just came in, but I was there with you at the Black Blockchain Summit when you were debating with Dr. Jared Ball. Remember? Yeah, and it almost got a little physical, but somebody said Dr. Jared Ball said Reggie's potentially the richest man in the U.S. And the funny thing is like we've been saying that it's like, say Coinbase has to settle out of court, we talk about billions, and then other exchanges have to follow suit. For Dr. Jared Ball, it would be hilarious because he constantly says, people don't have black people don't have spending power or whatever. What happens if you, Reggie, you get $1 billion settlement from different companies? We'll be interesting to see what happens from that point because we've been saying, how long have we had you on, Reggie? Like 5 years now. We've been trying to get people to understand, like we have people that we know, and I know personally, outside of you as well, Reggie, that actually have skin in the game and have actually done things in this market that they don't even realize could bring down a lot of these heroes. People have these mindsets of these heroes that are doing all this stuff, and I'm like, y'all talking about the same people. Y'all talking about the wrong people, honestly.
Well, let me jump in a comment on that as well because I'm not a young kid anymore, and I never did chase money. If I chase money, I go work for Goldman Sachs. I'll get put up with getting disrespected politically, but still, I have a lot to bring to the table. It's not about money. I'm wealthy. I'm rich because I have 3 kids, and my kids are outstanding. They're like men and women now. They're not kids. My oldest son is like your age, Yeah. But that's what makes me wealthy. Okay. Period. Hard stop. But I do have things that I want to accomplish and do in the world. Okay. They may result in some financial gain. They may not. But not having money doesn't hurt me. At least my sense of self-worth, and having money doesn't make me, period. And once you get to that level, then you can't get shaken if you take a loss. I get upset, I get pissed off, but it doesn't kill me because money's not my goal. You want to hurt me, you take my children from me, which you will have significant resistance. Okay. But I've had money taken from me on a regular. It's getting to the point I'm almost used to it. Not quite, but almost. So, and as for, what happens with the next step? The problem with Jared Ball, Dr. Jared Ball, I'm not going to be disrespectful to him because he's not here to speak for himself. But that conversation between him, me, and Lamar, okay, from the Billionaire Bitcoin Club. My issue with him is he's saying to a bunch of impressionable young college students and older, from what I think certain people would think is a position of authority, that you will not be able to compete from a capitalist perspective with others, right? That's not the case. If you tell enough people that, they're not going to try. Right. And they can compete. Look, I'm out here, I'm competing with everybody with significant handicaps. No matter what you believe or say, I don't get treated the same way everybody else does. I'm not on the front page of CoinDesk, right? If you look at what King is going through right now, look at that timeline. Okay, look who it's against. Okay, and I'm winning. Okay, and I'm not going to say I'm winning legally, but I'm winning up here. Okay, I'm not going to speak on any legal issues or any patent issues, but everybody's free to read for themselves. Okay, but if I was listening to Dr. Ball, I wouldn't try to do this, because Dr. Ball is saying you will never be able to accomplish this. You don't have the money. You can't compete. You can't do what other economic social groups have done, or demographics. So you can't do what the English have done, and the Irish, and the Jews, and the Italians. That's nonsense. People are people. And as humble as I may be, I am better at executing than certain other people. So why shouldn't I try? And the reason I shouldn't try is because Dr. Ball says you're not as good as they are. Nonsense. And you're not going to teach my children that. You shouldn't teach any black child that. Any.
Yeah.
So, and it's not about black and white, but that was the conversation we're having with Dr. Ball at Howard University. Okay.
And really quick, when it comes to conversations like that in general, I'm always, once again, the militant side of me come out. You know, I blame it on Detroit, Michigan, Detroit. People forget it was a French colony and everything that happened there, which is why Michigan militia was ready to kidnap the governor over that jab. But we come from fighters. My point is, when people talk about we don't have the economy to do, you don't have the money to do this, you this, that, and other, maybe you don't have the people. Do you know what a Molotov cocktail is? I can do whatever I want. Like, people need to wake the fuck up some days. I'll be like, oh, really? I don't got a family and kids. I got that beer bottle and that little cloth right there, though, and we can make some shit shake. All right, so with that being said...
Hey, that's the state that produced Draymond, so we already know what it is.
So with that being said, that's the show for today, folks. As always, Reggie Milton, thank you for stopping by. I just posted that link in the chat. If anybody want to read more about these patents and what's going on with that, I encourage you to do so. The link has been posted in the chat just now, so make sure you check that out. Make sure you support as well. Reggie is in a one-man army. Let's go ahead and make sure we support him and this whole patent craziness that's going on, and make sure the likes of Coinbase. Hey, y'all got all that money for everything. You can buy $130 million mansions. You can make sure people patents are respected. Other than that, Reggie, you go ahead and get your message out. Bitcoin Zay, and we'll end it on that. What you got, Reggie?
No message. I have a lot of smart people who help out, so I'm not a one-man army, but it does feel like that at times. And I want to re-emphasize and restate again, I am not speaking on the patent. I haven't mentioned patent numbers. I'm not commenting on it. I'm not even saying I'm winning. I slipped out and said I was winning, but I want to remember I'm winning up here. Okay. My biggest challenge is the fact that we have a pervasive mentality like Dr. Ball that says that I can't compete with everybody else because I'm treated differently. Well, if I'm treated differently, then I need to act differently. Yeah. I'm not going to speak on a Molotov cocktail, but if I get treated differently, I need to act differently. Okay. That doesn't mean I can't win. Everybody who had a significant win, everybody who took over at one point was on the bottom. That's why they were able to take over, because it was something to take over. If you're at the top already, you don't need to worry about other people from the top. You need to worry about people from the bottom.
Right.
But a lot of people automatically discount people on the bottom because they're on the bottom. And that's a mistake, which is why you see the top turnover often. Okay. Not as often as it should. And if I were to be on the top, I'll have to admit, I wouldn't want to give up my position. But if I'm not on the top, I make effort to get there. And I'm not going to let anybody tell me I'm not good enough. I can't do it. I'm not capable. If any man with red blood in a heart is able to do it, I can do it twice. Okay. So anybody who's impressionable and young, mark my words.
Oh, yeah.
There we go. Appreciate that, Reggie.
Just picking back off of that, Cat Williams already kicked the year off. It's the year of truth, the age of Aquarius. Hell yeah, that's what I'm saying. Shout out to you, Reggie. And happy birthday again, King. My name King is 40. Let's go. No, I'm just kidding.
almost.
Hey, happy Friday, everybody.
Happy Friday. Thanks for dropping in, Reggie, as always. And like I always say, people, on a serious note, I'm not saying be violent or any violence. I'm just saying it is always an option. Never let these people trick you and make you think it's not an option. Why? Because they will definitely kidnap and imprison you and use it as an option. Violence is always on the table, people. All right. I hope it never comes there and never has to do it, but I'm never taking it off the table. With that being said, smash that like and share. We'll see you all next week. Cheers.
Cheers.
BitCon this weekend. Everybody. We're watching it. Later.
Okay.
All right. Have a good one, Reggie. Thanks for dropping in as well.